Hey guys, and welcome to the DBGA Podcast, a podcast where we interview top level executives inside leading and growing companies in the home goods and e commerce industry. Excited to have our guest today, Suparna Deshpande. We'll be diving into her story and a little bit about what her company does and some engaging insights into the e commerce industry. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to you, Suparna. Could you please introduce yourself and tell a quick snippet of your story and your background prior to working at Altifarm?
Sure. So thank you, Rachel, first of all, for having me on your podcast. It means a lot, and it's a pleasure sharing my views and insights today with your audiences here. To give a short background about what I do, where I come from, and what is it that I'm doing at Altifarm. I moved from a small town in India to Canada a couple of months ago, but it's been a journey of you know. Ups and downs. I started off with in the logistics industry, and I was working with DHL handling export operations there, and post that I joined academics. I taught the management students on export policy, on consumer behavior and marketing and international trade. So, and post that, actually, I had to take sabbaticals because it's work life balance, all said and done. Every mother and woman would relate to me on that. So, I took two sabbaticals to raise my two beautiful boys, and they've grown into fine gentlemen now. Um, but while I was doing all of that, I ensured that I am, updated. I was doing some remote, assignments and also looking at the global perspective of things. Fast forward 2014, I moved to a city called Mumbai, and that's when I started the e-commerce and the startup journey. It was all a hustle, and everything was new. We were all exploring what it means to be in the digital marketing space, and I'm fortunate to be amongst the early people who actually know what the story is and how we grew as e-commerce marketeers eventually in a period of about 12 years of my stint now in this industry. So my stint at India Max, which is now India's magazine subscription portal, the top one. In fact, we also got an award from the government of India for it being a top magazine portal, and we had some 2,500 SKUs, and a lot of white labeling that we did for some famous magazines, which were global, including Harvard Business Review, etc. So that was amazing. Got to learn a lot, got to do things myself because of course when it's a startup it's a different hustle, so you have to do most of your things yourself, but it was a great success story. And here I am at Altifarm for 3 years now, I would say. And from my journey of India Max, of becoming a business manager to a director, and now from a CMO to a co-founder, it's again been a great journey. And now e-commerce is for me a global platform because we are selling in the US currently, and exploring the North American markets. So yeah, that's a short story coming from me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this. And you kind of touched upon how you got into the e commerce industry, but what is about your job or industry that you're passionate about?
Sure, that's actually a wonderful question because you have to really go back and think how it all started. But it's actually serendipity, I would say, because it's a combination of my passion and for learning, and the innovation and entrepreneurship skills that I always wanted to hone. So I always wanted to so every time I was given a responsibility, even from my early career, it was always that I wanted to own up things myself, be responsible for them, deliver, and that's what gave the high that I always wanted in life. So having said that, ownership was always something that I looked at. E-commerce happened because, as I said, the Indian market was something which I had already, I thought, in a way, cracked, and knew the pulse of the market. So the success story was already set there. With Altifarm, apart from the fact that I was looking at a diverse portfolio of the US market and had the opportunity also for expansions, which we'll talk about later, maybe in the while we speak, if there's a question coming up on that. But Altifarm is all about growing plants, growing indoor. It's about urban farming, and we have a range of products from $49 to a $749, which means that I'm catering to a vast sector of audiences, targeting at different levels. So it's super challenging there, and knowing the nuances and how the first worlds operate and perceive the products is important. It also gives me a lot of push when I think of the larger picture of things like food security or growing at home, eating healthier food, family time, mental wellness, and everything that's associated with sustainability and the greenery that's around in the house. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this. And you've been in this industry for a while now.
Yeah.
So, based on your experience and what you see, what are the current trends in the market that you are aware of? What winds are blowing? What are you noticing?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's what I breathe every day. So the wind keeps blowing in various directions. But I would say, yeah, let me begin that the customer today is more aware from an environmental standpoint, from a sustainability standpoint, especially the youth and people who understand what's going on and what is the future holding for them, and it's super disturbing. So everything that's sustainable, which has which is reducing the waste plants in the universe and helping the environment, is where the wind is going, I would say, as a product or as a mindset. Apart from that, from an e-commerce standpoint, the communication has become much more personalized. Even if it's even if I'm using email automation or any other AI tools, it is still to a level where because the kind of data that we receive about a customer from various places helps us identify the kind of ads or the kind of offers that we need to make to these customers. And yeah, and we actually have to go super, we just can't just spray around and pick something, we get a funnel of customers. That's not happening anymore. It's not easy. Which also means that we need to be present in all the places. So social media is not a choice now. It's like as the omni channels are blurring, the retail is coming in online, and those gaps are bridging. So everyone needs to be in all these platforms, and it's now hygiene. So just online presence and knowing beyond that is the trend, I feel. What's picking up also is social commerce, because if you look at TikTok, or if you I mean, Instagram and Facebook are, I would say, um, a little older. So TikTok, Snapchat. I mean, we people are, or the brands are wanting to create a community about of themselves, and a bunch of people who relate to their idealism, who relate to the brand value and the ethics that they get in to that customer. So, say for example, Allbirds, or there's so many such examples that you can talk about. Even in our space, we know our customer is sensitive about plants. We know it's a mom who's caring for her plant, just like we care for a pet or a child. So, there is sensitivity, and social commerce is helping us to relate to these people through data points and put out the right strategies. But I would also like to add a few things here, that influencer marketing is going, as is is taken by storm by everyone, and because the youth is not comfortable with the standard email or communications which the regular set of brands are using. They want people who could whom they relate to as icons and get influenced by them. So influencer marketing has picked up big time, I would say, and hence content marketing is in that sense of it become important. Yeah, I mean, having said that, as a co-founder myself, when or being a startup founder, I understand that it's becoming difficult from a founder standpoint, that you don't know where to start. While you made a product or you made a service, but everything around is so intimidating, and the fact that you have to be everywhere makes it a little difficult for startups who are lean, who do not have the resources, or who do not have the people to employ early days, who are also, juggling so many hats. So for such people, it gets difficult to not to know where to start. And having said that, again, in terms of the direction in which it's going, there are number of tools and automations and AI magics coming up to simplify communication, marketing, sales, and various other channels. But I would still, wonder, because there's a problem of plenty right now. You don't know which way to go, and there's something trending every second day, and it's on Twitter, and it's on all of the social platforms, and you keep wondering, oh, I mean, I don't have this tool. What am I missing? So yeah, that's where the sentiment is from both sides of the story, is what I would say.
Thank you so much. That's very interesting. Um, Now I would love to learn more about your company. So could you tell me about your company and what products are over at Altifarm?
Sure. So the journey began in 2017, 18 as a Kickstarter company. And we made some amazing products. The hero product of the company right now is Pico, which is a $49 product. And it created waves in the Kickstarter universe, followed by a bunch of other products like Pico Max. And we have another product called Cura. Essentially, the journey has been that we've been bootstrapped so far, and my other founders, Arun and Pradita, are also our pillars. Arun being the product creator himself, and Pradita handling the finance bit of things. We have a small team back in India, and we are generally either outsourcing resources or mostly trying to do things ourselves in house, and improving our skill sets there. Um, so, having been bootstrapped, the company is now in the phase of raising funds, and yeah, so that's where we are basically. So the company right now has, as I told you, right, there are a range of products, but we're concentrating only on two products right now. Primarily, our source of sales is also other marketplaces. So apart from Amazon.ca, we also are signed up with other marketplaces such as Stack Commerce or Autonomous or yeah, I mean, yeah, more or less these guys. So, yeah, that's where we are. I hope I've answered your question. Is it?
No, no, absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like you kind of touched upon this already before in this conversation, but I really want to give you the chance to dive into this topic. So, what unique value do Altifarm products bring to your customers?
Yeah. So, as I told you, right, it's not just a product that is innovative, and it comes with the convenience of self watering and self lighting, but it is also about the plant that is grown and the life that you're giving to that seedling. It's about nurturing, and the fact that there is convenience of having your plants or vegetables growing right in your house, which we feel is very wholesome. um, Talking about just touching upon the competition, the major differentiator for us is we are promoting both soil as well as soil less growing. So when you're interacting with soil, then it's a different, what do you call, then you're connecting with nature in a different way, vis-a-vis hydroponic growing, where there's just water and you're just adding nutrient, and it's very automatic and robotic, we feel. Whereas when you're growing it in soil, there is more interaction. You actually care for the plant, and they often say that, I mean, when you're interacting, when there is love, and that love translates into the food that you're having, works better on your body, it works better on your mind. So we come from that side of the story. We're not here only to commercialize our product and create a market share. Of course, that's our vision as founders, and that's where we want to make our money, but we also want to make a difference in people's lives, and we genuinely mean it.
Thank you so much for sharing this. That's very interesting. And you have a very innovative product. And like you said, um, starting an e-commerce business is difficult because it's a very dynamic industry. So, what are some of the challenges of being the CMO at Altifarm? What do day-to-day challenges look like for you?
Whoa. Okay. So, there is a quote in Alice in Wonderland. I, as a kid, I did not relate to that as much, but I just happened to hear it some time back that, to keep pace with, with the world that I am in right now, we have to not just run, but you have to run very fast, because just running will take you nowhere. It will just keep you at a place, but you have to run twice faster to catch the train every time, to pick up the trends every time. So being a CMO for a digital, and an e-commerce brand is not as easy, I would say, because there's something coming up every second. As I told you, there are new tools coming up, there are new innovations coming up. AI is making everyone crazy. Like, we just want to explore everything. So yeah, it is challenging to keep up with all those trends. Apart from that, we are also raising funds. So pitch preparation, for example, I'm apart from just doing the sales, I'm also taking classes from investor ready, and pitching in incubators to get that side sharpened as well, because you need to be ready with the harder questions of what the investors are saying. um, so but on a day-to-day basis, I would say it's about customer retention, it's about community building, it's about creating content every single day, which is a very big challenge for the marketeers, because you have to keep them engaged every time. You need to keep testing your ads, and to put that kind of money and to test it out, you need to be very innovative, which means there is a lot of homework that you have to do. You have to keep looking at the competitors, you have to keep looking at the comments, you have to keep looking at the reviews. There's so much going on at the same time. And yeah, and I think we are a little ambitious, because we want to do it all ourselves in house, because we tried a couple of places, and we thought we are the best people to do the storytelling. But having said that, we are not the experts when it comes to running these ads, or being in the places where we are spending money. So we're taking a deep dive into that part, which means reading more, looking at more podcasts, and it's a continuous learning process for me.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with this. And based on that, what would you say is the type of mindset that is needed to be a successful founder and CMO?
Um, and to be successful is, I told you, it's a combination of a lot of things, but I would say it is also a combination of the mindset that you are in. You know, you need to be in a mindset where you are ready to take those challenges, where you're ready to take feedback, learn from them, and implement them in the most positive way. You need to be a very good listener, because you're always learning, and I firmly believe that you always learn from everyone, every single one that's around you. you know so yeah, I take that. I try to be very respectful to everyone, and try to learn, understand how they think, because then you get to know your customer better. um, yeah, and apart from that, as I told you, I mean, it's a skill set that you need to acquire and keep learning all the time.
Thank you so much for sharing this. Now, I want to transition a little bit into a different topic because, as you know, we're a data analytics company, so I'm always curious to hear about other people's experiences when it comes to using data in the industry. So, in your experience, how does data really influence decision making and strategies in the e-commerce industry?
Oh, it's like asking whether, how do you breathe without your heart? You know? So it's it's see, honestly, I mean, having data points is again hygiene. Advanced data is something that the bigger companies used to look until some years ago, but now advanced data is something which even a smaller company or even a startup is supposed to look at, because the insights that you're going to get out of data is going to be micro. Now, it's actually a funnel if you look at it. If you're getting the right kind of data, like I'm using a couple of tools, which gives me data points just beyond a Google Analytics or Google Trends. There are SEO tools. From which sources which customers are coming. So there is the Shopify backend. I mean, there is so much places, the Klaviyo dashboard. So every time you're doing an activity and how it has gone is now very very evident from the data that's right there in front of you. And if you don't have that data, which means you're either working intuitively or you are masked about what the world wants, which means it's a complete mantra for failure. So, and you don't know where to put your money in. It is critical that data is looked at every single day, because it is very fascinating. And not just micro data. I mean, people are going big data right now, because it's complex. People's behavior is complex, the data points that you get and the analysis. So, what is more smarter is, if so, there are a lot of tools which are giving data. Uh, the heads or the strategist, or even for that, if the tool is able to do that, if they're going to give intelligence out of it, that if XYZ set of things are happening at a multiple levels or layers, and um, which should result in one and two sort of strategies, out of which again you come down to one. So you actually have to sit down on a daily basis on all the things. Like, it may be SEO, it may be email, it may be performance marketing, it may be the social, it may be reviews. And I'm just touching upon the the superficial ones. There's lead generation, so much that's happening there. So for every aspect, you need to sit down with the data, and from these tools you're able to understand the granular levels of where it is going, and then to make sense out of it. And then is where you put the money, because see, I come from a startup. Like, for the last 12 years I have worked with startups, and I understand how important it is to optimize money and how to use it at the right places. So for us, every dollar counts. So having said that, you should know where your money is going. You can't leave. One is, you can't leave money on the table just because you're oblivious to the data. Where you see an opportunity, but I don't know, I mean, you're not able to identify that. And yeah, second is, it's going to tell you everything. It's as good as your success rate is going to be three times more than what you would have otherwise done without data. So yeah, I mean, for
Absolutely.
me is, I mean, I'll have to breathe
Couldn't
data
agree.
every day.
Yeah, yeah, couldn't agree more with this. And could you share some insights on the role of data analytics in understanding consumer preferences and trends within your company?
Yeah, sure. So, as I told, right, data is insightful for me in every possible way. It may be about customer retention, it may be about how people are reacting to my ads. Um, it's also about, see, I mean, what generally is happening is, when we are doing Facebook ads, because that's where the maximum money goes right now for most marketers. The Facebook UTM tracking is not exactly great, unfortunately, which most people in my industry might agree to. That's the reason we have to hold on to other tools. And yeah, you can't rely on, although that platform is going to, that's the platform where you're going to put your money, but you can't rely for data on that platform because it's going to not give you the right matrices. So you have to reach out, or you have to, subscribe to other advanced data places where you can get this data. It also, it may be retention, it may be performance marketing, it may be, um, yeah, even email for that matter, and upsell, whether you want to put an upsell or not, whether you want to have an exit intent flow or not, are you getting conversions out of that? Are people even clicking that email? Are people even looking at your um, ads, even a CRO for that matter, even if they're coming on the website, how much time are they spending? Am I looking at the heat maps correctly? Uh, what's the behavior? I mean, should I have my product on the left or the right? Do I need the CTAs? Am I putting the right landing pages out there? So everything is connected to data. So when I'm looking at an effort that I have put in, the output is going to be through the data points that I get. So it's really as simple as that. And then based on that is going to be my next game plan.
That makes sense. Thank you so much for sharing this. Now I'm curious, what are the projects for Altifarm? What is your vision for the next 12 months?
Oh, okay. So we've been planning a lot of things. Um, we are limited due to certain challenges that we have in the company right now. But if I may say, my vision for the next 12 months to 18 months would be um, getting the Kickstarter products to the e-com platform, because I'm really excited that the Cura is going to do extremely well, and that's such a need of the day for every person who's growing plants in the house. It's a very generic product, not depending on the planter, and you can grow anything and everything with that Cura grow light. Apart from that, yeah, we plan to build a better community, because I'm talking about areas where we need to improve, and the areas where we should put our concentration apart from the hygiene things. So, my plan would be to build a community and create more awareness and education around food, around gardening at home, interaction with the soil, the other benefits that we get out of gardening. So that's where I am coming from. And yeah, apart from that, of course, market expansion is on the card. So apart from US, we also now will be venturing into Canada, and looking at the European markets. Already reached out to a few, but yeah, I mean, see, there are challenges with documentation, or with taxation, and there's so much to do at the same time. But yeah, if we spread it and plan it month on month, and then I think we'll be able to achieve these goals.
Well, that's awesome. That's a lot of exciting projects coming. Um, Thank you so much for sharing. And now I have a last question. It's a loaded one, but I
Okay.
like to ask it at the end. I think it's a good way to kind of wrap things up. Um, what are some of the most important things you've learned in your career?
Oh, important things that I've learned in my career. Is that what you
Yeah,
said,
the
right?
most important things you've learned.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Whoa. So, I have not belonged to a herd of people who do stereotype things. Whenever I have being comfortable in a job, it makes me very uncomfortable, because it's that I have learned what I was supposed to learn. Let me take the next challenge. So for me, it's always being out of the comfort zone, doing things which are not, you know, which probably a normal route would be easier, but probably I don't want to take that and take some other challenges there. So for me, it's always been out of the being out of the comfort zone, which means I have to be ready for a lot of obstacles, but I like taking these challenges and I like to solve them and I feel good about it. um, the foundation that I have is I come with strong work ethics. So I think I'm pretty solid with the facts that I'm putting, or the feedback that I get, or the decisions that I'm making along with my team. And I'm someone who will give freedom to the team, who will trust them. Of course, I am involved in the learning process. So generally, whatever they are doing, I have a fair bit of idea about where they might go wrong, and I give my disclaimers already. So they're better prepared there. So that way, my team generally I feel is happy working with me. So what's important is the journey. You may achieve goals, or you may not achieve goals, or they may change at times, with conditions, and with other situations. But yeah, having said that, it's important. See, I come from a sports background, right? So for me, my character is built in a way that I want to take up that challenge, I want to pursue it, play the game fair, and learn from it, and of course want to win every game. But there are times when you come back learning more than just winning. So that's what is about me.
Thank you so much. That's very interesting, and thank you for sharing this very wise advice. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Now, for the people that are listening or watching and that want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
Oh, all right. So they can just reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can share my link with them. I think I'll be good to, yeah, answer all their questions. Happy to do that. In fact, I've also
Awesome.
realized, yeah, I've also realized that talking to people, networking, reaching out to groups, listening to podcasts gives so much information. So I'm really happy to share any ideas or takeaways that people have. Yeah, would be happy to take that and provide any inputs if they ask for it.
Awesome. Well, I'll put the link to your LinkedIn in the description of the episode. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you, Rachel. Thanks, everyone.